One of the concerns we had for them last year was their center depth down the middle. Could Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha get it done? And hey, they got to the second round of the playoffs, good regular season, lose to the eventual Stanley Cup champions. They bring in Elias Lindholm on a 7-year, $54.25 million deal. They also bolster the blue line, adding Nikita Zadorov with a 6-year, $30 million deal, $5 million average annual value. And we'll talk about the Linus Ullmark trade in a second when we get to Ottawa. But they get Eunice Corpusalo back to back them up, and Mark Kastelik as well. It'll help fill out that bottom six. So they do have that center. Now they get the center depth down the middle. They could even move Pavel Zacha over to the wing if they want. This was one of those. Lindholm to Boston was one of those we heard a lot about, and it just came to fruition. It just made a lot of sense on all sides.
That is an absolutely terrible contract.
It's not a great contract, but yeah.
Man, that is paying premium dollars for like the no-name brand of something. At least in my mind, when I saw that, I was like, "Man, did we have to spend that?" I get that for Boston. We looked at their center core all year and went, "What is this? Like, what is happening here? How is this a thing?" So they go out, they get Elias Lindholm, and you're like, "All right, that makes it better." But you gave him term, you gave him money. I don't really worry about the Zadorov deal. I think they needed to pay for it. It's fine. Linus Ullmark, it's basically moving out. A goalie, he got Corpusalo back. Fine. It is what it is. Jeremy Swayman now, I guess, is the number one guy, and he's going to see, I'm assuming, close to 55 games next year because you don't want Corpusalo to see that many. But that Elias Lindholm contract, it doesn't smell good, and I don't think it's going to age well.
Yeah, probably not at the back end of that, but is Zadorov at $5 million a year? Like, there's part of me that thinks that's a little too much too, but he's going to be a very popular player in Boston, so they're not going to mind that.
No, I think he'll be okay.
I'm wondering if they could have gotten a little bit more for Ullmark because, I don't know, Corpusalo is just not it to me. I know he's just going to be the backup, but if Swayman gets hurt, I mean, Chris is going to have a lot of fun on Boston's grave if he does.
I mean, he's got a better team in front of him, so hopefully that'll get him to a playable backup level compared to where he was performing at in Ottawa. But yeah, it did not look good for any goaltender in Ottawa last year, but he didn't do anything to help himself either. They also got a 2024 first-round pick back in that deal. So,
I had such high hopes for him leaving the Kings after that, season that he had with them. I know he started in 11 games, but just to help that team get to the playoffs. And, I had big hopes for Ottawa, and it just didn't work out at all.
Well, let's talk a little Ottawa then, right? I was talking about him anyway. Linus Ullmark said the thing that was important to him was he wanted to go somewhere where he knew it was going to be his crease, and it would be more of a traditional 1 and then 1A and then a backup. And he's got that, for better or worse, in Ottawa. He has certainly got that now. And they trade Jacob Chikrin to Washington for Nick Jensen and a 2026 third-round pick. Make a couple of depth additions on the wing. So not much looking different there besides the Chikrin trade. And Ullmark, I don't think anybody's got any real expectations for Ottawa. We're still all waiting to see what happens with Brady Tkachuk here.
Yeah, when you go from where he was in Boston, a year off of winning the President's Trophy and being one of the best teams in hockey, to now all of a sudden going to Ottawa. This is he's going to be the guy in the crease, but I assume that he's going to regret this a year into this contract and into this trade.
Yeah, this is going to be a rude awakening for him because he's going to show up in Ottawa and realize they do not play defense like they do in Boston. This Ottawa, now that the Arizona Coyotes have moved on, I feel like somebody has to be the team in the NHL where you just kind of look at it and go, what are we doing? And that is the Ottawa Senators here. I have no idea what this team is. They are are we going through another rebuild? Because a couple of years you went out to get Claude Giroux and you were supposed to be good, and now you're not good again. And I mean, this team is just garbage from top to bottom. They're no good. And again, man, some goalies benefit from the system, and that's fine because hockey is a team game and goalies are important. But Ottawa's not good defensively. Jacob Chikrin, they paid a price to get him, and he was nothing like he was when he was in Arizona. In Arizona, he was a guy who could shoot the puck, take up a ton of minutes, block a ton of shots. This man was everything. It shows up at Ottawa, and it's like he died. So I don't know what's going to happen to the Ottawa Senators, but I expect them to be at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. That's what I have for them, and I think Ullmark's going to realize real quickly that he's going to get more starts, but he might not enjoy that. He might get a sunburn from the light being on behind him so often.
And make sure that mask cover, put some sunblock on before, and before the third period too, because it does wear off. So not just before the game, but second intermission as well.
Reapply.